Today is similar to what we've been doing in the past. Same complete the square idea. But on this worksheet, sometimes you're going to start in the middle or in the end. And it kind of changes depending on the problem. So the first one is normal. We move the 13 over, and I've created this space, a pattern for you to follow. So I need to put a -6 here. I need to square it and add 36 there and there. Add those two together and I get 49. Then you take the square root. X minus 6 equals plus or minus 7. And we add the 6 to the other side. 6 plus or minus 7 is 13 and -1. Those are the roots. Everybody's really good with doing that, right? Okay, look at number 2. It's a little bit different. Same pattern, but now I don't know what the original equation was. So we need to find the original equation, fill everything in, and solve. So what can I fill in from what's given? What part of that equation, of that whole system, can I fill in using what has been given? What's that? So if this is 64 and that's 64, oh, sorry, 8 and 64 make 72. Okay. So you're going for the easy one. So if those two numbers are 64, what is the factor? It's either 8 or -8. Is there any way to tell? Yes, because if you look at the first two lines, we have a plus. So this will be plus 8, and if that's 8, what is the middle term? 16. You guys get that? So we just worked backwards. We knew that the number we added to both sides was 64, which meant that the factor had to be 8 or -8. But if you look at the original equation, it says x squared plus, so that 8 had to be positive. If the factor is plus 8, then what's the middle term? Some number that's twice as big, so 16. So now I square root. 72 is 8 and 9. That gives me 2 times 2 times 2, and 3 times 3. So I can pull out a set of 2's and a set of 3's. So x plus 8 equals plus or minus 6 square root of 2. And I need to subtract 8. And that's my final equation, or final answer. Those are the two roots. 8 plus 6 root of 2 and 8 minus 6 root of 2. Okay, take a look at number 3. In this one, we know the factor. If I know the factor, what's the middle term? -7 times 2, so that would be minus 14. Well, if the factor is -7, what do I add to both sides? Plus 49 and plus 49. -24 plus 49 is 25. And then we just square root and solve. X minus 7 equals plus or minus 5. I'm going to add 7. So what is the answer? 12 or 2. Did you say you get this or you don't get it? Oh. Okay, so number 4 is the same way. 5, we've done one like that. Let's look at number 6. This is a little bit tricky, but just remember the pattern. We have been told the factor. So if the factor is 5 over 6, the middle term must be twice that big. So what number do you cut in half to get 5 over 6? 5 over 3. That's the middle term. So this is plus 5 over 3. Plus 5 over 3. Does anybody not understand why it's 5 over 3? Okay, here's one way to do it. What number is twice as big as 5 over 6? Well, 5 over 6 times 2 would be 10 over 6, which simplifies to 5 over 3. Or you say, what fraction do I multiply the denominator by 2 to get 5 over 6? Well, that would be 5 over 3. So no matter how you think about it, you're going to end up with 5 over 3, whether you double the fraction or whether you cut the denominator in half. Does that make sense, Jennifer? Okay, let's try again. So some number times 1/2 is 5 over 6. Well, what number times 1 is 5 over 6? 5. What number times 2, or sorry, what number times 1 is 5? 5. What number times 2 is 6? 3. So the number that we didn't know had to have been 5 over 3, because when you double the bottom, you end up with 5 over 6. All right, if that's the factor, what number do I add to both sides? 25/36. And then in my calculator, 5 plus 25/36, and I get 205 over 36. So 205 is not a perfect square, but let's factor it. 205 divided by 5, oops, 205 divided by 5 is 41, and 41 is prime. So can I pull anything out? No. So when I square root, I get x plus 5 over 6 equals plus or minus root 205. The denominator turns into a 6. Now when I subtract the 5 over 6, they have the same denominator. So I'm just going to put the -5 out here and lengthen this out. And those are the two roots. -5 plus root 205 over 6 and -5 minus root 205 over 6. Okay, I also want to do number 12, and then I'll cut you loose. So this is kind of similar to number 6. We have the factor x plus 11 over 2. What number do I cut in half and get 11 over 12? Do you get that? You do get that? So this is plus 11 over 6. Plus 11 over 6. Now, if that's 11 over 12, what do I add to both sides? 121 over 144. So I'm going to add 121 over 144, and now I'm kind of stuck. Now what do I do? Tommy's got it. So some fraction or some number plus 121 over 144 equals 841 over 144. So this number plus 121 over 144 equals this number. So if I want to go backwards, just take the 841 minus over 144 and subtract 121 over 144. So 841 over 144 minus 121 over 144, and it just so happens that the number is 5. So if this number is a 5, what's the number in the original equation? -5. And then I just solve. Does 841 square root? It doesn't? Try it. What is the square root of 841? 29. So x plus 11/12 equals plus or minus 29 over 12. So I'm going to subtract 11/12. Negative 11/12 plus 29/12 simplifies down to 3/2. And negative 11/12 minus 29/12 simplifies down to -10/3. And those are the two roots. I just typed them in. Negative 11 over 12 plus 29 over 12 and negative 29 over 12. So really, Negative 11 plus 29 is 18 over 12, which simplifies to 3 over 2. Negative 11 minus 29 is negative 40 over 12, and if you take out a 4, you get negative 10/3. Okay, you guys understand that? That covers pretty much every situation you're going to see on this worksheet. All right, good luck.